Hi, this is the first video about mob grazing. I'm going to show you the meadow and how I'm organising how I can start the mob grazing here. So we'll go for a little walk. This is our first film about mob grazing here at Englemark Refugium in Denmark. And we will go for a walk to the meadow where our mob grazing is going to start shortly. We have one cow and a calf who's 3 months old, and today it's the 14th of May 2015, and we have a cow and a calf, and we have 3 sheep and 4 lambs, and right now they are on a meadow where they are able to graze the early spring grasses, and this is a great help for me because we don't have enough grass on our land yet, but it's coming slowly, and we have about 11 acres of grass, or 11 acres altogether, and about 6 acres of grass that can be grazed, grassland. And the reason why I wanted to start doing mob grazing is that I could see that we've had our animals for 25 years grazing the same area. We've had sheep all the time for 25 years, and we've had the cow. We've had cows sort of on and off, but I could see that the land was getting more and more poor, and we hadn't been really rotating the animals very well, and the grass was just not very lush anymore. When we came here 25 years ago, we could easily feed a cow and 4 sheep and their lambs, and even make hay on our land, and we had plenty. But now it's not so good anymore. So I could see that we'd been doing something wrong. I will go down to the meadow. Yellow canola flowering is so beautiful. So the whole idea of mob grazing is so fascinating, and it's a man called Alan Savory who found this system quite a few years ago, actually, in Africa, and now more and more farmers all over the world are realizing that this is a new way to work the land, which is going to rejuvenate and regenerate the land so that life will come back into the soil. And what you're doing when you're mob grazing is you're really mimicking the old way that nature has been working ever since the beginning of time, and when the first mammals came to the earth, and they were moving in big flocks closely together because that's safe, and that way they were always going onto fresh grass, and it is very, very healthy for the land. And we can't do that the same way today, but with electrical fence we can mimic it. And already now so simply put, you have your animals on a small area where the grass is quite tall, and you let them tread down about a third of the grass and eat a third of it or a quarter of it, and then you let the rest stand, and then you move them onto a fresh, and you let them put the manure onto this land and make it all used, and then you give them fresh land, which they absolutely love, because there's been no animals on it apart from wild animals, of course, and they really love it, and they get so much nourishment from this grass that is fresh. And then they just keep moving on through the pastures, and you have to make sure to let at least 31 days go by before you put them back onto a particular spot again. Now we're getting close to our meadow here, and it is about 4 acres of land with some it's really a moor. I think this is called a moor. It's a wet area, and it's very wet in the winter time. But apparently when you do mob grazing, you're going to build up such a beautiful layer of organic matter on the soil, so it will be able to hold water in a different way. So I'm very excited to see that process. And now we'll have a look at what the land looks like. We've had our animals grazing here in January and February, and I was feeding them hay here. This is our little sign, Inglemark. Velkommen til Inglemarks Eng. Welcome to Inglemarks Meadow in Danish. So here we come, have the house here, and I've set up a fencing sort of system so that this is a place where I can catch them, the animals, and I can have them here if I've got nowhere else, no feed for them. And they were here about 2 weeks ago, and there was no grass at all, and now it's really quite good looking, the grass. And over here we have the fence. Here's the fence. So this would be maybe a quarter of an acre, or not even. And here we have the whole meadow. It's a bit hard to see on the camera, but we'll go and have a look closer at the flowers. I'll just explain. All the way down on the eastern side of the meadow, I've made a corridor so that I can move the animals. And here's the corridor. So all the way down there's this fence. It's a portable, this is going to just stay here, this fence. And all the way to 2/3 of the meadow we have this corridor. And I've divided this area, which is about 2 acres I think altogether, this fence, and we've got barbed wire fence, an ordinary sheep fence all around. So there we have this, the barbed wire on the top, so they can't get out here, and over here we have the electric fence. And So they'll be able to walk here, always be here, and they have access to water down when they follow this corridor. So here I've just made a very simple little gate for now. I'm going to put some electric fence on it, but apparently the animals are learning this, and they have a lot of respect for this new system because they're being given fresh feed all the time, and that's really remarkable to see. As long as you keep giving them fresh feed, they have great respect for what you're doing, how you're controlling them. So this area of about an acre, I will control from these two fence posts here, and I'll make a fence going diagonally all the way and just keep moving it, and we'll get back to that. But now we're just going to have a look at the flora of the meadow that has been grazed, as I said, in February. So March, April, it's about 3 months ago it's been grazed, and still it's very, very short. And that, I think, is because although it has a lot of variation, it has been grazed with the same animals on here for too long. There has not been enough rotation. So it's really, it needs to get its energy back. Have these gorgeous flowers coming, but as you can see, the grass is very short. Bit to my hand, it's about the tallest is a hand's height. So it needs time. It really does need time. And where there's sort of wet patches, which is many places, there's this grass that loves the wet, which they don't actually eat, the animals. So we'll see what's going to happen. Here we have beautiful chervil. We have singing nettle. And we'll just take a trip all the way down to the end here. Meadow is a very special type of nature. Because it's a man who has been having it grazed, or they have been making hay on it for centuries. And when you keep cutting the grass and keep having it grazed every year, you get a very special type of flora. And you can't get it any other way. The only way to keep a meadow is to actually keep treating it the same way. Make sure it's grazed every year. And the place, if you stop grazing it, it's just going to go into shoot into forest. So you're going to have trees here. So it's very special to be on a meadow. It's a very special energy, I think. And the wildlife loves it because the deer that come here, they have lots of grass. See, this is the corridor, and the grass is just coming beautifully. So tomorrow they'll be coming onto this for the first time, and I'll show it to you, and they're just going to love this grass. The other people many people now who are doing mob grazing, and some of the ones who are really, well, I've noticed is Greg Judy and Joel Salatin, and there's quite a few more who are doing an amazing job. A man called Paul Slump from Canada, who's made a wonderful video. Look at the flowers here. so gorgeous. This is the 14th of May. A bumblebee. Just loving it. So when I'm in nature, I can't help just praising the Lord for creating such a planet with so much beauty, so much life. Thank you, God, and that you are present right here and everywhere. This place is not only physical, it's spiritual, and your spirit is forever present. So beautiful. We have more flowers here, and trees coming that are, this is a plum tree, another wild plum tree, all the flowering's over, and these gorgeous flowers. There's a special peace on a meadow, just really special. So thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Now this is the where the corridor ends, and so they'll be able to go down here for water. So there's access to, there's sort of a path we've trodden down to the water there, which is okay for them to drink because it's quite deep. So they take from the surface, which is clean. And now we go up to the back of the meadow, which is quite special because it's well, this is really an old river. There's been a river here millions of years ago, and it's like a sandy hill we're going up onto, which gets very dry in the summertime. Here, all this area is just wet all winter, and it's just quite wet now, really. So, and probably turf under it. And now we're moving up onto the high spot, which is the last third, and this is all fenced with sheep fence and barbed wire around it. And this I will be controlling with the electric fence, moving it round in here. The beautiful daffodils that are just standing here, sending the most gorgeous scent into the air. Praise you, Lord. Thank you. So beautiful. See if we can get a closer look. Oh, it's so sweet. It smells so good. Over here we have more of these live fence posts I told you about the other day that I'm using for putting. I'm going to have sheep fence on here. I'll just remove these. We have a beautiful fence post the next rest of my life, probably next 30 years. If I get that old. Beautiful birds are singing. So it's all just very getting ready for the animals to come be put on to this land. And here's their water spot, so they'll be able to come here and drink water. And beautiful plants here showing that the water is clean. So this is perfect. We'll go up to the high spot, which is absolutely gorgeous. And you have a milking cow. I'll My cow's making maybe 20 litres, maybe more, every day on grass only. She does need to have a lot of nutrients in her food, so the mob grazers say not to let it get too tall, but others say just let it get a metre tall and she'll take the tops off and that's fine. But this really is too short for mob grazing. If I put the animals on now, I'll have to move them through it very quickly, because it mustn't be grazed down to less than 2 inches. It has to always have this beautiful bedding, which it does have, this beautiful stuff in the bottom here, so that the earth is protected. You never want bare soil when you're mob grazing. So here's bare soil, and that's probably going to disappear within a short time. It's going to be covered by beautiful organic matter. So just going up to the top here. And here in the EU, European Communion, you can apply for benefits or money for farming the land, and I think it's really wrong, but I have applied so that I'll be getting some, I don't know if you call it subsidies, or you get some money for grazing this land. And you see this is an interesting photo or picture here. You have the cow dung and how the plants are growing up through the cow dung. This is making, there's a whole world of life around this dung, and it's just making its way up through, and it's going to turn into a little oasis. It is an oasis of life. So this is what we want. They say the cow heals the land, and I really do believe that. But unfortunately the EU also gives money for farmers who spray the land with chemicals and are actually poisoning the earth. They're actually getting benefits for doing it. You just can't believe that. You can understand them helping people who want to. I don't really believe in benefits at all, but I'm going to have it for a while and help me get going. And see, up here the grass is so beautiful. They could come up here soon. It's really nice and tall, and there haven't been animals here for a long time, so this is really more or less ready. Lovely area up here, and here you can see this gorgeous grass, which is a special type, my husband says, special type of grass that's very low, and it is a sandy bank here, or sandy spot. So this is what it looks like here. So you've got moss in the bottom, and apparently the animals' hooves will break this up so that the grass can get through. So you don't want too much of this, but they do actually eat it. The calf actually enjoys eating this once in a while, so there's probably some special nutrients in it. And now we're looking back. I don't know how far you can see. Looking back onto the house. A little hut. So this was a little look at the meadow, and there you have the beautiful canola up on the hill.